just had a hiccup, but all is well. So you were saying?
We were talking about the idea that you don't go around speaking, acting as if, when really you're acting a wish.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to get to those core beliefs and dismantle those
Mm-hmm.
and be compassionate about dismantling those.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he could have beat himself up forever about, oh man, I shouldn't have jumped out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to compassionately, what was motivating me? My fear was, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's look at that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spirit, God, love, what do I need to do instead of how I acted and perceived and believed before?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let me go back to the page we were on. And so she found an apartment. She found one in a miraculous way, and it was given to her, though there were over 200 other applicants. The blankets showed active faith. So this is another thing that you can ask yourself in this moment of like, how can I demonstrate active faith, right? This is the idea when we get into like, what is mine to do? How can I demonstrate active faith? It is needless to say that the ditches dug by the three kings in the desert were filled to overflowing. Read 2 Kings. Okay, she goes on. Getting into the spiritual swing of things is no easy matter for the average person. The adverse thoughts of doubt and fear surge from the subconscious. They are the army of aliens, she's quoting scripture, which must be put to flight. This is why it is so often darkest before the dawn. Now, it's interesting, she said, this is why. It's not that life is hard or whatever. It's like because we have these thoughts that have impressed our subconscious mind, not even through our own not it's not our fault, right? If we come into this world, there's so much fear, doubt, and worry that we've absorbed through our families. Mm-hmm. There's so much fear, doubt, and worry we've observed through media, through movies, through so many different ways before we even come into a conscious awareness that we can uproot those things and also consciously plant new things.
Right. And so that's why you got to be so kind and gentle with yourself as you discover those core beliefs as they play out in your life.
Right. Right.
My grandmother used to say, it's always darkest before the dawn. And it always felt like a punishment. Like I have to go through this first before I get my good.
Right.
But that was what she was taught. And so what we're saying here, it's darkest before the dawn because our thoughts are those thoughts.
Yeah.
And it has to make its way, or those thoughts have to be moved out of the way so that the light, the truth can shine through.
And so she goes on. A big demonstration or manifestation is usually preceded by tormenting thoughts. Having made a statement of high spiritual truth, one challenges the old beliefs in the subconscious, and error is exposed to be put out.
That's what you want. You want the errors exposed.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't feel good. You wish you didn't have the errors. But you want those exposed so that they no longer are creating in your mind. They're no longer, you're uprooting from your subconscious mind.
Yeah. And this is really the spiritual work, right? Like, again, we think the work is all of these tools and doing all these other things that are fun, right? But the work, right, is uprooting these beliefs, allowing them to be exposed, to be put out.
Right. That's why I like to call it remembering work. So we're uprooting what we thought was true, and we're remembering the truth of ourselves. I no longer want to believe that, feel that, live that. But if you don't see it in your experience, you won't even know it's operating. So that's also another way the game is played.
Yeah.
You get to see what's operating in your belief system.
Yes.
Not to punish you.
Right.
Or torture you, or make you bad or wrong. It's so that you can get a reflection, so that you can change it. So that you can see how cause and effect works.
Yep. She goes on, this is the time when one must make her affirmations of truth repeatedly and rejoice and give thanks that she has already received. Before ye call, I shall answer. This means that every good and perfect gift is already humanity's awaiting our recognition. That's all, right? It's awaiting our recognition. And so humans can only receive what we see ourselves receiving, right?
And that's why you don't put limits on what God is going to give you, because you can only see and speak and ask for what you see yourself receiving. And so that's why you hold the vision lightly. That's why you say the right or perfect or in alignment with my highest good. Because you may not see it yet, but God's sight is perfect.
Right. She makes use of the story of the children of Israel in a metaphysical way here. The children of Israel were told that they could have all the land they could see. This is true of every person. We have only the land within our own mental vision. Every great work, every big accomplishment has been brought into manifestation through the holding to the vision. And often, just before the big achievement, comes apparent failure and discouragement.
Yeah.
Right? But every failure contains within it the seed of its equivalent success. Napoleon Hill, right? And so the children of Israel in the story, when they reached the promised land, they were afraid to go in, for it was filled with giants who made them feel like grasshoppers. And there we saw the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. This is almost every human's experience.
That whatever that is bigger than us.
Right. This is why I love the lyric we sing in our opening song, right? I breathe in, I breathe out, I'm in the present moment now. Here in the present, problems seem so small. Here in the present, what happens? All my giants fall. We have to get to this present moment, this space of knowing and remembering I am here now, and remembering what is here now, that all of God is here now, because it neither comes nor goes. And when I'm in this present moment, giants fall.
And those giants are my thoughts.
Right. Right.
My beliefs, my old conditioning. Because if I'm present, I'm not looking to the past. I'm not recalling the past. If I'm present, I'm not even worried about the future. I'm just open and in that flow.
I'm looking at the time, and it's 12:35. We're going to pick back up. There's a little bit left in this chapter. I want to pick back up in this chapter next week. I think we should continue. What do you? Is there not much left?
Not much left.
More left. We might touch on this chapter a little bit more next week, but I think we have covered the principles, right? The principles of understanding the law of prosperity and how it works and how we work with it, because that's really what it's about. The law exists, and what she's demonstrating is how we work with the law. Right? How we demonstrate active faith, what perfect faith looks like, what acting as if really looks like, what holding the vision really looks like, and what this process really looks like in terms of uprooting those error thoughts, right? Exposing those errors and letting them go. So we encourage you to revisit this chapter again throughout the week, and then also let's start reading the next chapter. The power of the word, which is awesome because it's just going to take us into some more things, and we just keep aligning. Keep aligning.
And let's just keep this law, this rule in place in our minds. There is a supply for every demand.
Yeah.
Think about that this week.
Yeah.
Think about how that's already played out in your life. If I think about there has been a supply for every demand that I have had to this point, and begin to list those. And ruminate and focus on those, and let that begin to be integrated into my experience. Oh, I thought it was quote unquote miraculous from my understanding, but every supply has to be filled. Every need, every demand has to be met. Every supply is always there, in time, on time, right? So think about your life this week, and how every time a supply was there for every demand you had.
There's a supply for every demand. That's what we work with this week. Oh my goodness, I love teaching this.
This is fun,
and I love. I pray that what we're teasing out and pulling out is really beneficial to each and every one of you, as you're starting to see what's really underneath what she's saying, because we can read this. These stories are fantastic, right? These stories are awesome. It's just like, oh, wow, I know, wow, this is powerful.
Let me just go out and buy a blanket.
Right. And this does increase our faith, right?
Yes.
We need to hear these stories. It's important. And, I was reminded as we were reading through this chapter, just, we know the power of the word, right? And we have seen so much taking place, and we have spoken the word to see people that needed tens of thousands of dollars in just a couple days and see it manifest. ourselves needing thousands of dollars and see it manifest. We have spoken the word, and women who were told they could never bear children, or needed some other assistance in order to get pregnant, and despite and confounding the doctors, there are beautiful humans walking this planet now because of the spoken word. We have seen those who they went to the doctor and cancer was found, and they needed to do follow-up tests, and we spoke the word and it was gone, right? We know the power of the word.
And we are not special.
That's what I wanted to get to.
We just keep remembering the power of the word.
And making use of the law of prosperity, right? Knowing that every need is supplied.
Every need is supplied.
Right?
Has been, will forever be.
Yes. Knowing
Because I'm not separate from it.
Yeah.
I'm not separate.
Knowing there's a divine design and just allowing.
And those of you who are volunteers, now you know where I got that divine design from. That are on my design team.
Absolutely.
Connected to that superconscious mind. We all are.
Yeah. So we just want to remind you how you can give to continue to support this ministry, and of course what we are teaching and bringing. We are deliberately making this class free. Normally, a class like this would be, I don't know, whatever, $4.97. And so we're grateful that we're able to offer this in this way. If you would like to give to CSC, it's very easy to do. You see the information here on your screen. You can go to our website, celebrationsc.org/give, or you can text to give, 347-744-9500. There is a $10 minimum to text to give. As you also see here, we always say, give what feels good.
Yes,
right?
Only what feels good.
And give what feels good is different than give whatever you can, right? I think that's a beautiful statement as well, right? Because we're not interested in burdening people. But give what feels good is inviting you to get into the good feeling tone of giving. Because when you're in that feeling tone of what feels good, you're recognizing that, there's a supply for every demand, that God is my supply and my all-sufficiency. And so that is what I'm giving from. And so I'm not worried or concerned about it being filled, right? I'm also giving what feels good, which means I'm not giving from guilt. It means I'm not giving from shame. I'm not giving from obligation. I'm not even giving just sort of by rote, just, I'm supposed to give. I'm just, right? Like there needs to be a conscious, beautiful vibration of joy and good in your giving. And that's how you experience the complete blessing of giving and receiving, the complete joy of prosperity that comes through giving and receiving. And so we know this to be true. We live it as a community. We live it individually as pastors. CSC continues to be blessed and prosper because of this consciousness. And so we affirm that all the money that I use returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle. Of increase. And enjoyment. Yes. So we take a very joyous offering. It is 10:40. We look forward to seeing
12:40.
I'm sorry, 12:40 Eastern Standard Time. We look forward to seeing you, those of you that will be with us in the God Talk. We start on time, right at 1 p.m. For those of you who may not have seen it earlier, if you would like to join our mailing list and you're not already on it, and for those of you who are on it, please check your email, check all your folders, your spam, your junk folder. The email goes out.
Yes.
But if you're not on our mailing list, text welcome to this number, 347-472-1078. You'll receive a prompt. Click that link, enter your information. Once we have all of your information, which has to include your email address, you will then be emailed the Zoom link and password.
And with God Talk, you have to be in the room to ask the question. Truth Sunday email is for the class that we're teaching only.
Yeah.
God Talk, you must be in the room.
Yes. So we look forward to seeing y'all in a little bit. And for those that are not at the God Talk, all good. We love you and we appreciate you. We pray that you enjoy the remainder of your Sunday and have an absolutely awesome week. And we look forward to seeing you back here next week for the Power of the Word, Chapter 3. In the game of life and how to play it.
Yep, we got game, y'all. Let's keep playing.
All right, bye for now.
Bye for now.